Moi d'où ça fait moi la peine, ou fait toi savoir. Moi d'où achète moi, ou fait dire sans moi. Si moi d'où pénètre moi, ou fait toi savoir. Comme un maillage pas faire l'amour pour rien.
Hello and welcome viewers. You are on the field with me, Philip Sydney. I'm sure you're asking, where are we? Well, we are in the luscious valley. Which valley? The Nursery Valley. Just to put you on focus, there is the Nursery Village and there is the Nursery Valley. The Nursery Valley go back history, monocropping, which was sugarcane. We moved to bananas, and of course, right now we have diversified into many crops. We have tree crops, we still have bananas, we have root crops, vegetables, we have aquaculture, we have livestock, and the list goes on. If we go back to tree crop, our focus some years ago was cocoa. And of course that got us into the establishment of a cocoa fermentary right here in the valley. The valley is a very luscious valley. That is why I am standing right here on the CARDI Field Station in Larry Show's Nursery. There are many areas in the valley. We have Mabuya, we have Oleon, we have Denny Riviere, and the list goes on, just to mention a few. All these areas are agricultural areas. With me today is Andrea Ferreira. She is the CARDI representative to St. Lucia. And of course, going back a bit, it brings me back to many other names I can remember. Alex George, David D. Mack, also have Ronnie Pilgrim, and the list goes on. And of course today we have Andrea, who has taken over. So, over to you, Andrea.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Sydney, and welcome to the CARDI Field Station in Larry Show's Nursery. Right now we have several experiments running and several demonstrations going on, and I'm standing in between the cassava and pumpkin intercrop that is going on right now. We have sweet cassava varieties planted and pumpkin in between them, and we have some sargassum around the pumpkin. So we're checking to see how that pumpkin responds to the sargassum as well as an intercrop in between the sweet cassava.
So you're saying that in addition to the sargassum, are you going to be using any other fertilizer, or is just the sargassum alone?
Just the sargassum at this point.
At this point. And it's strictly from a fertilizer experiment point of view?
Fertilizer and any influence that it has on the soil itself, because the sargassum is very good for the soil. It acts as a biostimulant and it enriches the soil and adds texture to the soil, adds nutrients, adds plants hormones.
Okay. Why only the pumpkin and not the cassava?
The cassava generally holds by itself. It does very well. We can fertilize it, we can add sargassum to it, but right now the focus is to see the effects on the pumpkin with an intercrop of the cassava. At another point, we can test the cassava with the sargassum.
Okay, as you're on cassava, that's a sweet cassava?
Yes.
All right. What variety is this?
This particular one is the Uncle Mac.
Okay.
We have 7 varieties. As we go down, we'll take you to the germplasm to show you the 7 different varieties.
Okay, and those varieties are given to the farmers on the
Yes,
holding?
farmers can get cuttings from us once the cassava is of age. So anywhere between 9 to 11 months, we would have sticks available to give farmers at a subsidized price.
Okay, great. Okay, so from here, where do we go to?
We're walking down to the cassava germplasm,
okay,
where we have 7 sweet cassava varieties.
Okay, so this is your germplasm bank?
Yes, correct. We have 7 different sweet cassava varieties here. We have the Uncle Mac, the Why-Me, the CR30, all of the labels, just follow them. Some of them are codes. They're all sweet, and this is where we maintain the stock material to help farmers when they request sweet cassava planting material.
But do you also sell the root tuber?
Yes, we do. When we harvest, we would sell the cassava itself to those persons who are interested in making farine, as well as Massey, who takes them for the shelf. This right here is sorrel. This is not an experiment. Every year we plant the sorrel and we sell it at Christmas. So it's the dark variety, and we plant it around June, July to start harvesting late November, early December. Okay. So if farmers are interested in learning how to grow this sorrel, we can advise them. They can call our office or email us or come in and speak with us. We will bring them, let them see how it is done, and go from there.
Okay, so if they want planting material, seed material,
If they
can you
want,
all offer this?
they can contact us, but what we prefer is to have an order to set the seeds rather than set the seeds and then they are not sold. So if anybody is interested, they can contact our office, let us know how many seedlings you would need, and then we would go from there.
Do you work closely with the Extension and Advisory Services unit of the ministry?
Yes, we do. Extension and CARDI have an outstanding relationship. We conduct trainings. We work closely with them to go to farmers and see farmers' fields and advise them from there.
Okay. Do you have any problems with pests and diseases as far as the soil is concerned?
Generally, no. We are able to control that with the practices that we undertake for the sorrel production. This is the tomato experiment. We have the rodeo variety of tomato planted, and we're mulching it with sargassum mulch, coconut mulch, a combination of the two, and of course we have no mulch as a control treatment to determine the effects on the sargassum. So far we've noticed that the tomato with the sargassum is doing extremely well. It has started flowering before any of the others, and we're waiting to see what the growth and the yield is like. We've been taking heights, number of leaves, number of flowers, the fruits, and the moisture content and the salinity of the soil, because you know there's concern about the sargassum and the salinity.
Correct.
We left that sargassum in exposed rainfall for about 4 weeks to let that salt drain out, so there shouldn't be any negative effects on the soil, but we're still testing.
Is it a determinate variety or indeterminate?
Determinate. And we also have behind this tomato trial some fruit trees lined straight down.
Okay.
Those fruit trees
Avocado pear?
are avocado, and what we're looking at doing is creating these hedges to break the wind from the storms and the hurricanes and any disasters that can impact on the crops and destroy them. So that's another thing that farmers can look at doing. You can use a mixture of fruit trees with agroforestry type trees, so things like Gliricidia, which is a common legume. Those are the plants growing on the side there.
Right.
Those can be intermixed with the fruit trees, or you can do a double hedge. So we're hoping over time to have those hedges as examples for farmers to come and see of what they can do to help with the hurricane winds.
So this is, I noticed, a sweet pepper, right?
Yes, we're testing two varieties of sweet pepper, the Pizarro variety and the Goliath variety, against, again, the sargassum mulch, the sargassum and coconut mulch. You would see here that you can see the mixture clearer, sargassum and coconut, shredded coconut. The sargassum only, the coconut only, and we have the algus, the locally made by Mr. Dujong, the sargassum extract that is used as a biostimulant. So we're testing all against the two varieties to see how they are performing.
Okay. How long has been this experimental established?
About 4 weeks right now.
Okay.
So we're continuing with the data collection to analyze and see the effects. Okay, so here we have our coconut nursery. We have dwarf varieties which we have collected locally, and we have set them up in a nursery setting to germinate and to get seedlings so that we can then have those available to farmers who need planting material. And all of this has been under phase 1 of the Caribbean Coconut Industry Development Project, which is funded by the ITC and the ACP and the European Union.
Okay. What varieties?
They are all dwarfs. We have the green, the orange, the yellow, and we are currently in the process of working out exactly genetically what types they are.
This is your sweet potato
Germplasm.
germplasm.
Yes, we have about 30 varieties here that we collected from around St. Lucia from several farmers. Unfortunately, most of the farmers could not tell us a name of the variety. So we're going from the bottom up and we're looking at all of the characteristics. We're looking at the shape of the leaves, the stalk color, the tubers, how they are shaped, what cluster they're in, what color is the flesh, what color is the skin. And Zanica, is an intern with us from the St. Louis Community College. She's a student in agriculture, and she's assisting with this process.
There's a local variety, what you call the 6 weeks. In Creole, they call it the sissi. Have you heard about that one yet?
We have heard about it. We have not located it as yet. We have had promises from farmers to bring it to us after they did say that they had it, but it wasn't at a stage for us to get vines. So if we can obtain that from any farmer, please let us know. We will be very willing. Right here we have over 30 of them. We have the purple flesh, the yellow flesh, the orange flesh, and the white flesh.
Which one would you say has that market demand?
The market demands are generally the white flesh. There's one that is white flesh and purple skin that does very well. And there's also the one that they call locally Mandela, which has a yellow flesh inside, and that also does very well. What we're looking at too with these sweet potatoes is how they're performing in the droughts.
Right.
So in the dry season, these two rows did very well. So all of the varieties in these two rows performed very well. These two didn't. So we're looking at how they tolerate very dry conditions and try to find out if they have any genetic markers in them that actually allow for drought tolerance. So we took about 5 samples to send off for DNA testing, and we're waiting on the results to see how and if they do indeed have any type of genetic markers in them that allow for tolerance to drought conditions.
Okay, so we are in the greenhouse, and all I'm seeing is the coconut,
shredded coconut mulch.
and of course your tomatoes.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
Yes, this is another experiment. We're looking at the same variety, the rodeo tomato variety, and how it performs with the shredded coconut material versus no treatment, and also the algas again. This is about a week and a half transplanted seedlings, so it's still early stages, and if you look closely you can clearly see that some are taller than others, so it should be interesting to see how the results are for this one.
So they were transplanted at the same time?
Yes, they were all transplanted at the same time, so the treatments are having some type of effect.
Tell us what's happening here. I notice your beans here.
Okay, so this is our second tunnel house, what people locally call the greenhouse, and we have Bora beans, the bean that is in Mr. Sidney's hand, growing. This is part of our crop rotation scheme, where it's good to change up what you grow, give the soil a break from the same crop for a period of time, and it would be excellent to introduce legumes. This is our legume for this particular tunnel house. It's the Bora bean, and we are growing this here so that it can regenerate the soil, fix the nitrogen, and add back some nutrients before we change the cycle and introduce another crop. Previously, we would have grown cucumbers, and before that, sweet peppers and tomatoes. So this is our rotation to add some nutrients back into the soil, because part of our mandate is try to reduce the amount of synthetic chemicals that we use. So we're looking at the agroecology and the natural methods of doing this. The planting of a legume is one example.
Okay. Are you all encouraging farmers to do this? I'm sure with your interaction with them.
We are doing our best to encourage them and to teach them and to show them the effects and the impacts of these methods. So yes, we are, and hopefully this would get to more farmers and allow them to see firsthand how the beans are doing, so that they know, yes, it can grow under a tunnel house. It doesn't even have to be a tunnel house. It could be an open field with trellises in place. So yes, we are working with the farmers and encouraging them, and we hope that more of them would do and carry out these practices.
In terms of market demand, is there a demand for this?
Yes, there is. Actually, right now it is in demand because it is scarce on the market. And again, that is something we're hoping to work with the farmers with through crop scheduling, which is part of our ICTs for Climate Smart Agriculture project, which has been running, where we're teaching them to meet the markets, not to have an oversupply or an undersupply. So at this point, yes, there is a demand for the Bora bean. Here we have the dwarf pigeon pea, and this is planted around an empty plot, which we will be moving our sweet potato germplasm to. But the idea is to keep the hedges of the legumes around whatever we grow, so that it can keep adding back nitrogen through nitrogen fixation into the soil. So these are the dwarf ones. They don't get taller than this, and we're hoping to increase the amount that we have in this hedge and make it a full dense hedge.
Passion fruit?
Yes. We have set up here in this entire plot an example of how you can plant passion fruit running it on a trellis system. And we have the yellow varieties, the purple varieties, and we have them mixed as well. And in between, you'll notice these plants. These are black-eyed peas. And again, we've planted those to help balance off the nutrient system in the soil. So those are planted there. We're going to run them on the ground cover. Weeds will be removed, and we'll run them to cover the entire ground, as well as on some of the trellis system to allow for that nitrogen fixation to help increase the nutrients in the soil itself. We also have passion fruit seedlings that we set for farmers. So if anybody's interested, they can come and purchase passion fruit seedlings from us.
How many varieties you said?
2, the purple and the yellow. Here we have a line of citrus plants going all the way up. They are lemons, and also we have a grafted variety that we have planted. And again, this is part of our system to create hedges that will protect the crops that need protection. So this is meant as years go by and it comes up at a certain height, we'll maintain it to protect the passion fruit from the winds that may affect it during storms. Behind me, we also have our yams. This is the yam germplasm that we are working on re-establishing here at CARDI. There are about 3 varieties right now, and we're running them again on the trellis system. And we're hoping to expand this so that we can provide planting material to farmers. But it's a slow process. We're trying to source as many of the local varieties as possible. Right now we have just about 3 or 4 varieties here.
That's the local varieties?
Local varieties.
What about the other varieties? I remember some years ago, I don't know if you're aware, we had the African varieties, the Belep and the Kelembayo. And I don't know, are you familiar with those?
I'm familiar with them, but I haven't heard of them in St. Lucia at this point. If there are, again, we would invite farmers to please let us know that you have it so that we can bring them, establish them, and see how they perform.
What sort of planting material, how is it prepared, the mini set?
The mini sets are the best way that we use. We cut them into small sections. We can probably invite you back when we have that so you can film a segment on that. We also dip them in a fungicide, and then we will distribute to farmers.
Wow, we just completed a vigorous tour of CARDI Field Station in Laurentius in the Dennery Valley. What a tour it was, well diverse. A number of activities were shown to us, and of course and shown to you too, the viewers. And now you know, if you didn't know where CARDI is, now you know where it is. It's in Laurentius, in the Dennery Valley. You pass through Mabuya, and then you come into going towards Denny Riviere. That's where it's situated. Very luscious, and I must say, it was an eye-opener for me too. I've been here before, but with the many experiments that have been carried out, again, the result is for you, the farmer. You come and see. You come and get the plants, as you will see in the viewing video. I would say thank you to you, Vera. So
Thank you, Mr. Sidney.
I'm hoping that you will continue the good work.
We will.
Okay?
We will.
You know that Andrea Vera, she is the country rep for CARDI, and I wish her very successful activity, and of course for the farmers, and more so the upcoming 7 crops.
Yes.
That assistance, I think it's your input will be welcome, and I'm hoping that is going to take us and the farmer very far.
Definitely. And I would just like to welcome anybody that is interested in agriculture, the students, the farmers, anybody now starting up. If you want to come and see what we're doing, take a tour, get information, please call our office. The contact number is 453-3317. You can also email us, and we will send you the email address to put on the screen. Okay?
You're on the field with me,
Thank you.
Philip Sidney. Thank you for viewing. Goodbye.
Moins doux, ça fait moins la peine, ou peut-toi savoir. Moins doux, achète-moi, ou peut dire sans moi. Si moins doux, pénètre-moi, ou peut-toi savoir. Comment m'a chemin, la capelle à mon doigt.